Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus, and yes, it's that time of year again. It's Halloween, or close-ish, and I decided to cover something for that occasion and ultimately decided to go for Roll for Great Old Ones, designed by David Rimbach, Hodari Spiele. I got this game from my friendly local game store. I had my eyes on it for quite a while and I was quite happy seeing this on the shelf there, so I basically pulled the trigger there. Yeah, it's a roll and write game. Comes with 4 or 5 different scenarios. Of course, I will cover the first one here today, and it also comes with 3 difficulty levels, and I think I will stick to the easy one just to stand a chance. This game can be quite brutal actually, but yeah, let's set it up and yeah, meet you back in a second. Okay, and here we are. This is already the setup for the game. You can play this game 1 to 4 players, so fully cooperatively, but also true solo. So the game comes with 3 more investigators. We are playing as Sally Jones today, as the student. I didn't play with her. That was one of the main reasons why I picked her. Again, the game comes with 4 different scenarios. I checked that now, and each of these scenarios come with their own little scenario rule sheet here. And because, yeah, they're really quite different from case to case. This one is definitely the most basic one. You only have to achieve basically 1 or let's say 2 goals in order to make it. The game also comes with these special ability cards. I'm not going to use these today. And as I said, we are playing on the easy difficulty level. What this means I will cover in a little bit. But maybe what are we trying to achieve today? Scenario 1 is called The Eternal Ritual. Sinister cultists are trying to awaken an ancient, mystical and unspeakable god, a great old one, through a sickening ritual. To do this, they use the black magic of the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. Its appearance signals doom for the world as we know and love it. The investigators should beware of their own fears and wits. Fight cultists and Migos. In other scenarios we might have to fight other foes, but I think cultists are always part, because that's one of our standard actions. Find important clues to close the dark seals before the ritual is completed and you are devoured by evil forces. And that's exactly what we are trying to do in this scenario, because our victory condition in this very basic scenario says if the investigators have closed all dark seals and there's at least 1 investigator still conscious in a solo game, that has to be me obviously, the world has been saved from evil once again. This is a victory, but the cultist will try again. Again, because I am playing solo and playing on the easy difficulty level, I have to collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clues in total. On the hard mode we need 3 more, and on insane mode even more, or basically 6 more than the normal mode. Once we have done that, we will cross this out. We will still have to end the current round, because the cultists are, or the dark forces are usually acting after us, so we have to survive it, and when we do, then we have won this very first scenario. Let's have a quick look at Sally Jones. As an investigator in Arkham, you'll face the dark forces of the cultists. By gathering important clues and fighting the cultists, you try to prevent the mysterious ritual to awaken a great old one. Close the dark seal to the other world before the ritual is completed. All those heroes are basically the same. They have all the same, let's say, normal actions, but we all have a special ability here. In her case, when re-rolling dice, Sally can lose 1 health once to repeat the re-roll at no further cost. This is really, really huge. Even though health-wise the game can be quite challenging. We start the game with only 4 health points. That's what you see here. Or maybe I should be able to see that. Those are circled. Whenever we gain health, we will circle more health. Whenever we lose health, we will basically cross it out, and yeah, once we have crossed out our last circled heart, we have automatically lost the game, because again we are alone. But I think we should be able to start the game now, and we have the sequence of the round outlined here on the scenario sheet, so you can even cross it out so you don't forgetting a step, and I won't do that. I will still forget stuff, and this is a kind of a fiddly combo-tastic kind of game, so expect me to do a lot of stupid decisions, weak decisions, but also simply some errors. I find the rule book a little bit difficult to read, let's put it like this. It's all in there, I believe, but but for whatever reason I really struggled with that. But anyway, let's get started. As the first step in each game round, we are advancing the ritual by the ritual level. In other scenarios, first I think there has to be an island that has to surface, for example. In this one, we are simply starting the ritual here. The current ritual level is dependent on the stage. So you see these small lines here. In the first stage in a solo game, it's basically 1, which means we are only filling out 1 cross down here. So we know right now nothing bad is happening. The further we get, let's say, the more terrible stuff will happen. And along the way, other actions might unfold here. And right now we are still safe. First 1 or 2 rounds of the game are still relatively easy. Let's put it like this. Next, we will roll all dice and create the dice pool. In a solo game, we are rolling 2d6s. One is pretty much for us, the investigator. The other one is for the cultist. The 12-sided die here is only for the cultist and is determining what actions they're going to take. And by rolling those dice before we are taking our turns and before our enemy takes their turn, it really helps you to understand what's about to happen and what can you do to prevent that as much as we can. So let's roll those dice. So we have the 9. The 9 can be immediately put here onto the respective board on the scenario sheet, the eternal ritual here. This will really be for that. We are able to or allowed to re-roll that die, but let's see what we do. And then we have to make a choice. We either take the 2 or the 3. Again, we are allowed to re-roll. Basically, you typically re-roll during the next step of the game. In order to make an informed decision, first of all, that's at least what I found, is you have to see what are the cultists going to do. And when you are looking at the 9, we see here they're about to summon more cultists. That's typically not a good thing. And we see that here. If we would be choosing a 2 for our action, we would assign the 3 for the cultist action. And the 3 would basically spawn 3 more cultists. So I think that's not what we're going to do. I think we can live with a 2 as well. So I think, or with a 3 as well, we will take the 3, we will assign the 2 here, because I think that's an okay start. We basically have 6 actions to choose from. Everything else is already kind of, let's say, special. So we have to assign the dice basically onto those actions that are printed down here on the desk. The good news is, even though we only have 1 die, we get to place that number twice. Unfortunately, though, they have to go into different, or we have to assign those to 2 different actions. With an odd number, unfortunately, we cannot search for clues. You see that here it's 2, 4, or 6. This is something that we want to do because this will help us win the game ultimately. We can go for the healing hands, which is not so powerful actually, even though we are getting some experience points for that. We can rest our body, we can start to recover our soul, which is important once we are dealing with weaknesses, but that is also something that you have to prepare. So attacking cultists is okay because this only requires us to place different kind of dice into those actions. And we have a special action down here, which in this case is, I believe, attacking Migos, which needs pairs of dice, no matter what number those are. And I think that's what we're going to do for starters. Again, we have the 3 and we have to place it into 2 different actions. We are going to place 1, 3 in here. Hopefully my pen doesn't lose me. We have covered over a plus. A plus is basically a free number, which we can assign in a second. But let's do the other 3 first. And I guess we are going to place that here on the attack cultists or on the healing hands. Rest body, I think not. Let's do that here on the come on, what is this? Attack cultist one. In order to attack cultists, we need to basically place 5 different numbers into this row here, and then we are triggering that action. So might take us some time. On the other hand, we are getting the plus here, which again is a free number which we can place, and we can place that free number right here if we want to, but I don't think that's what we're going to do. I am inclined to either rest our body or to start searching for a clue, because searching for a clue, if you see that here, will also give us another free number. And I think that's what we are going to do. So we are placing a 2 in here. It doesn't really matter, it just needs to be an even number. And again, we are triggering the +1 here. And I told you, this is really a combo-tastic game. And with the other 2, or with the other free number, again, I believe we are going to move over here. We are simply placing, I don't know, the 1 in here. My pen is really not working well. And this one again is giving us another free number. Okay, things are really getting crazy now. I don't want to place it in here. So I think we are maybe starting to recovering our soul to some extent. So we are placing a 6 in here because here we have to place numbers in a descending order. So it's the 6 down here, and the 6 is a star, which means this is our very first experience point here. Come on, I think I need another pen. So right now we are not getting anything, but this experience track will start to fill, and we can even gain some clues from the experience here. Though I think this is really a great way, getting extra free numbers, getting more clues in here. But I think those were all of our actions now, with only one single die, right? I mean, that's really crazy. But this means we are now ending our perform actions. We will now activate cultists and perform actions. Again, the 12-sided die was a 9, which means we are triggering that action, summon cultists. Cultists are the troublemakers who want to perform the ritual at any cost. The more that participate in the ritual, the faster the Great Old One will be awakened. Add crosses in the amount of the cultists who are appearing. Now we are checking the 6-sided die that tells us how strong this action is. And in this case, it was a 2. And when we're looking here at this number, 1 or 2 is 2 more cultists, which means my die is really failing me. We have now spawned 3 cultists in total. We are starting with 1 cultist right off the bat, and it's also a little bit depending on the amount of players. The more players you have, the more starting cultists you will have to face. But that's basically the end of an entire round. We are checking for victory or defeat, or we are cleaning up. There's nothing to clean up other than removing those dice here. So let's go into the next round. Again, we are progressing the ritual, which is right now only 1 more step. Okay, I take that. Let's roll the dice for our round, and then we are choosing stuff. Okay, we have 10, which we have to place over here. And yeah, ultimately right now there is no choice. We will have to place a 5 here and a 5 there. Again, we get to re-roll if we want to. But let's have a quick look at the 10 here, which says Migos are attacking. Now that's bad. We are starting with 1 Migo right off the bat. The wild creatures have tracked you down and are preparing to attack. Face the battle. Okay, the investigator with the highest dice result are attack. In this case, it's basically only us. If 3 or more Migos are active, a second attack is triggered. The consequences of this attack are rolled again. Not great, but I do think the 5 doesn't really matter here. So I think that is okay, actually. So I will place 1 5 down here. Again, this is a descending order, 6 5. The next one would trigger a free number, and the attack cultist, we simply need different kind of number. So we are placing a 5 here. So we could place a 2 here, we could place a 6 in here. I mean, you get the idea, right? But that's it. We are not gaining any bonuses whatsoever. Next one maybe, but yeah, we have to suck it up. And actually I think I was a little bit too optimistic here, because the 5 definitely does hurt us. The 5 will trigger 2 insanity and will spawn 2 more clues. We are not getting a wound. That's maybe something, but I'm still not sure. I think I will suck it up. I think I will suck it up. So I will take the 2 sanity hits, and we are spawning 2 more cultists. So let's spawn the 2 cultists first. Yes, I'm using a different pen now. And here I'm gaining 2 more insanity. The second one is basically doesn't do anything. The second one though gives us a skill. So every time you see this bluish symbol, we are gaining a skill, and we really have all these skills to choose from. And I am somewhat inclined to make 1 investigator combat ready to gain some more health, because getting health is really some kind of an issue. We could also instantly gain, that's something we could consider, instantly gain 3 free numbers actually, which is also quite all right. But I really like the idea of getting more health actually. Here I'm not 100% sure what's the difference between any one investigator, make one combat ready. I mean, this is a 3, this is a 2. Maybe I have to check that. And actually, I don't think there is really a difference other than this one is stronger. So we are going for this skill here, which immediately gives us 1, 2, 3 more health. And believe me, we will need that. So I think that part was quite all right, actually. So that was not too terrible. Unfortunately, after we were attacked, we have to summon a new Migo here, which is basically here. We have to do that from left to right, top down to bottom. The first Migo, or the second one in this case, is free. The next one will already trigger a second action. So far we are okay with these secondary actions, so game is still giving me some kind of a break, but I believe that's basically it for this round. So let's move into the next round. The ritual will progress. Now we see the 2 here. So we are triggering a secondary action a little bit later. So we are adding the 2 into that space. So this is the one piece where you have to clean up at the end of the round, this one here. And in a solo game, we are only allowed, or the game is only allowed to do that twice to us. In a 2-player game, it's already 3. And this is where I think this game might be somewhat easier when you play this with 2 or 4 players, always with an even number, similar to Eldritch Horror, because again, with 2 you get 2, with 1 you get 2, with 2 you get only 3, 1 more. So I think ultimately that's what I think, but it's quite a brain burner as it is already playing this alone actually. Okay, that was that. Nothing else to be done at this point in time. So let's roll the dice for this round. Okay, that's another 9. Again, we are summoning more, and then we have a 1 or a 1. And I think the 1 on the scenario sheet is okay. The 1 for us, yeah, not so sure actually. Here, I might consider to re-roll that die. The problem is the next re-roll, which we're adding here, and you always get, basically, you have to suffer 1 insanity for a re-roll, but that's what it says here. Sorry, I should show that here. So the first re-roll will enter the insanity, the next one is free, then the after one above that will spawn, let's say, more cultists. You get the idea, right? So the next one, we will gain more insanity, and in this case, we will get a madness or weakness condition in this case, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for that quite yet. The question still is, can we do something meaningful with the 1? We can place 1/1 in here, rest your body, because this is an ascending order. So that would be okay. And we can place another one into the healing hands here as well. Again, preparing us to gain whatever more health, in this case, even some more experience points, which is never a bad thing. I think here we have the 1, right? Yeah, that's the 1 in this space. That's kind of a bummer actually. Yeah, I think 1 was really the worst result for us in this case. So should we re-roll and gaining a weakness? Weakness is always a random one and will really make the game extremely more difficult. It's not unusual that you're ending up with whatever 2, 3, 4 weaknesses at the end of the game, which is the main reason why I think I don't want it yet. But I'm not really that experienced, so we are adding 1/1 here into the healing hands, and we are resting our body, or preparing to rest our body. Yes, that's the German one, by the way, in case you're wondering. For you Americans, this almost looks like a 7, I suppose, but yeah, believe me, it's a 1. But okay then, those were our actions. We will start to summon more cultists, so that's a 9, and we rolled a 1 on the strength die, which is another 2 cultists, which dodged the bullet here. We would be entering another 2 into that. The problem now is this is not all, because we do have actions of the cultists here that was triggered from the ritual track, which means we have to trigger action number 2, which in this case is cultists recite from the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon unleashes the dark power of the cultists and their sinister magic. We are not using the strength dice for now, because this was triggered basically from a different source. No, we will be using the strength of the current ritual level, which currently is luckily only a 1, right? We are still in ritual level 1. I think so, yeah. So we are only adding 1 cross in there. And this track is simply here to annoy us, because it will trigger really awful stuff. But now we have to do some cleanup for the first time of the game, which means we are erasing the 2. And yeah, we already know the drill. We are removing the dice and then we are moving into the next round. Let's progress the ritual. Right now, nothing else is happening. Let's roll the dice. And okay, that's a 5, a 2 and a 4. So we really have to see what is the 5 doing. I believe we can live with the 4, which is nice, and because we already know what the 5 is, cultists recite from the Necronomicon, and this is really simply number of pips will add more crosses in there, which means we are triggering a secondary action. More Migos will be spawned. Okay, this will be a nasty round actually, but I'm not going to reroll that, no. But okay, let's take our actions. We will place 1 4 in here. Keep in mind, here we have to place even numbers. The second 4 will go in here, which gives us a free number, which is never a bad thing. Again, this is descending order, so the next can be a 3, 2 or 1. They don't have to be directly in order, right? It's simply higher or lower, basically these 2 here. The next free number we got will go in here. Again, it doesn't matter which it is. It will simply be an even number. This gives us an experience point. The experience point, which will give us another free number. And the next free number will go in here. Again, it doesn't matter which one it is. We have now completed our very first action here, which is search for clues. Now we have to roll a die, and the game comes with a different colored dice. They're really hard to read. Hopefully that is all right for you on camera here. The only thing that we don't want to roll is a 1. The 6 would be perfect because this would mean we would gain 2 clues. Everything else will give us basically only 1 clue. And that's a 3. I'm not going to re-roll that. I will simply take it. So we found our very first clue of the game. The cool thing is this also gives us a free number, and I believe I will add the free number in here, right? That's another 2. This gives us an additional free number. Wow, I like these kind of chain reactions. And I believe the next free number will go here into the attack cultists. Yeah, let's do that. This gives us another experience point, but unfortunately this doesn't do anything for us right now, but we will get there. Okay, that wasn't a terrible turn. Unfortunately, the game will kick back now. So we have action number 5 with a strength of 2. This gives us 1, 2. So we are triggering the 11, which we will enter up here in the actions of the cultist. We are immediately triggering it and we are summoning wild Migos. And again, the current strength is determined by the ritual level because this was a bonus action basically for them. So it's a 1, which means we are spawning 1 more Migo. This will trigger action number 6, which again I have added up here. Now whatever is triggering in respect to extra action, we will simply ignore, but we still have, that's a bad one actually. It's the soul suffers. Your mind begin to break. Determine the investigator who will feel his deepest fear. Check who gets a weakness. Guess what? That is us. And in this case, we simply have to do a weakness or an insanity check. Right now, our insanity level is a 1. We are still in this first bucket here. So we have to again roll the extra die here and have to roll higher than our current insanity level. So let's see, that's a 3, that is higher, which means we have basically dodged the bullet here to some extent. And actually I was wrong, I just noticed it's simply check who gets the Migo. The other one is the illusion of insanity, which oh gosh. Basically I will take the 3, I will not re-roll it, but I will use the 3 now to determine our weakness. Okay, we have to get rid of it as soon as possible. Lose 1 health after each re-roll you activate. Okay, that's not too bad so far. We haven't taken an awful lot of re-rolls, but it's our very first weakness. And whenever you are rolling the same number again for this weakness, you will start losing some health. Also not pretty. But I believe those were all of the actions for this round. Let's move into the next one. Let's progress the ritual. Let's roll the die. Nothing will happen here, at least not from the ritual track. And here we have the 11. Oh, more Migos are getting spawned. This could be, oh, and a 6 and a 5. I think here the die result? Yes, it does matter. Of course it does matter. Oh gosh, this is terrible. Oh gosh, we will spawn an awful lot of Migos. What are we going to do? Which die are we going to take? I believe I do want the 6. Yeah, I think we can live with the 6 because we can now start attacking our cultist. That is cool. The other 6 we are simply placing in here. We are continuous searching for clues. And now, because again, we have triggered our action here, we are getting to fight the wild cultist to slow down the progress of the ritual. Unfortunately, we still have to roll a die. So despite all the planning, the die can still mess up your turn. We are hoping for a 5 or a 6, right? And that's a 4, which is pretty much one cultist. I think I will take it, because what this means, we are basically completely erasing that cross in here. So this cultist can never come back and will also not help the ritual. And for every cultist we are defeating, we are gaining 1 experience point, which in this case means, yeah, we are getting a free number. Nice. I would love to trigger the special action here. The problem really is, if we're only hurting those Migos, then we are getting wounded back. That's really a problem, and they can also heal. So there is an action actually which says it here. On a 7, the Migos are healed. So in order to ideally defeat 2 of them, so this special action allows us to assign 1 hit to each, to 1 Migo each, or to 2 Migos each. Sorry, I should be clear. And they take 2 damage each. And if we're defeating a Migo successfully, we are gaining 2 experience points for those. But then again, only hurting those is hurting us. So I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. We still have the free number though. And honestly, I do think we want more clues, right? So we're adding another even number in here. We are getting an experience point for that. The problem, this experience point doesn't give us anything right now. Huh. But that's our action, and now we will spawn or summoning more Migos. Because again, we have rolled the 11, but the 5 is really worrisome. Okay, no, the 5 is still quote unquote only 2, not 3. So the 6 would have been worse. We would be going for a 4 actually, which again, oh, they would be attacking us. Question is, how likely is it that we would, if we would re-roll now, we would gain a that's maybe not too bad actually. Let's try to re-roll that die now. Normally you get to decide the order of things, how all these effects are kicking in, but I think in this case, let's do the re-roll first to see what's coming out, and it's another 5. Are you kidding me? I think, yeah, I can use my special ability. When re-rolling dice, Sally can lose 1 health once to repeat the re-roll at no further cost. Let's totally do that. So we are losing our first life point. I think this is important now to reroll this die again. It's even worse. It's 6. Okay, we are toast. I'm not making it through the easy mode here, it seems. But then again, a lot of terrible things will happen. So we have triggered our reroll. That reroll triggers the insanity, which means we have to roll the insanity die again. So this one here, and that's a 1, which means weakness 2 is now unlocked. Advance the ritual by 2 for each. Okay, this is really something I need to get rid of. This can be a brutal one, actually. Wow. The thing now is, because we have re-rolled the cultist die, we are getting 2 more insanity. But this is now actually quite all right. So we are doing this, and we are doing that. Okay, I think that wasn't terrible, which means we are getting to unlock another skill. And I believe we can defeat 2 Migos actually by using this skill here. Gain instantly 3 free numbers. And here I am somewhat inclined to do that. So this is our skill. We are getting 3 free numbers. And again, we get to choose the order of things. And I think the 3 numbers will be 3, 1 and 1. Here it doesn't really matter. We will trigger twice the special action, which in this case means wound 2 Migos each with 1. And because we are triggering those action basically simultaneously, we are not wounding them, we are really actively killing them. At least that's how I understood it. I could be terribly wrong now with those rules, but I believe that's the case. But this means 2 Migos are already dead now, and therefore we are collecting 4 experience points plus the 1 we got from the second special action. So we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 experience points, 2 free numbers. 1 free number definitely will go in here. Doesn't really matter. Let's take a 4 just for the laugh. So we will unlock 1 clue roll, and the other one will be, I believe, this one here. So we are simply adding a 3 in here. We will instantly lose 1 weakness, and I think we will go for that one. And yeah, one thing I forgot, lose 1 health after each reroll you activate. Oh, I forgot that. And I believe, yeah, I rerolled twice. I think, oh, no further cost. To repeat the real no further cost. It's cost, but I think this has nothing to do with the weakness. I still think we have to trigger the weakness here. Wow, okay, that was that. Still extremely successful. The problem is we still have the action to resolve, and that's 3 more Migo. This is okay. This is okay. This is not okay. Which means we are triggering action number 4. I will enter it up here, but we are triggering it right away anyway. And in order to determine what action we are triggering, we have to roll a die, because this was triggered through the actions of the cultists up here. Oh gosh, that's another 5. Yeah, I'm not going to reroll that. So we are spawning, gosh no, we are spawning 2 more cultists here, which will be the 2 that we are adding up here. So the 4 has been done already. So that was that, but we also get the 2 more insanity, which is good and bad. So 1 and 2. First of all, we are getting 1 more weakness, and I think we might be actually able to get rid of that weakness right off the bat. But let's see what we get. It's a 2, gain insanity for each special action you perform. Okay, right now that is something we can control to some extent. And then we unlocked another skill. Wow. And actually, I do believe I forgot to give us our clue. Yes, from that down here. Shouldn't forget this. This is really important. I mean, right now you can still track everything. Is in theory trackable to some extent, but yeah, I think that was that. And we could gain another clue, right? From, where was it? Down here. Find instantly 1 clue, which would give us an additional free number. But maybe we do want to defeat, yeah, let's do that. Let's defeat 3 cultists. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I think this also counts for a normal defeat, which means we are gaining 3 experience points. That isn't terrible. 1, 2, 3. We are gaining an additional clue, and that clue gives us an additional free number. Cool. Let's definitely give us another free number here, which gives us another free number, which is a 2. Oh, and we could actually do something like this. I will add another, let's see, maybe a 5 in here actually, which 5, wow, this is so cool, gives us another clue, which is up here. Wow, so much going on, all triggering from this 1 die roll, actually from that re-roll ability and from those Migos that are summoning. Oof, a lot going on. I really hope I'm not messing things up here. If not, let me know and I will do a rematch for sure. But ultimately we need 4 more clues in order to make it, in order to, yeah, basically close our dark seal here. One thing I almost forgot, we had another 2 here actually, so we will have to listen to some cultists reciting from the Necronomicon, which is 1 based on the current ritual track. So I think overall that is all right. And then we are moving into the next round of the game. Okay, we will have another 4, which, this is a Migo attack. Ooh, this is nasty, but let's see what the dice have in stock for us. A 6, a 2, and an 8. The 8, okay, 8 is now the insanity check. I believe that is okay. And I believe this is also where, yeah, this is really where the die doesn't matter at all. So we get to choose 2 or 6 without really any, whatever, detrimental effects whatsoever. And I think I will go for the 2 actually. So we are assigning the 6 over here. Again, it doesn't really matter. So 1, 2 goes in here. This gives us another X. And the other one goes in here, basically searching for clues. But this gives us an experience point and a free number. And I just noticed something terrible actually. Ooh, okay, this is bad. If 3 or more Migos are active, a second attack is triggered. The consequences are triggered again. I should have done that actually before we do anything else. And we should have spawned another Migo. The other Migo is not the end of the world. It simply costs us 1 health. So we are down to only 3 life points. Okay. But what are we I think we have to simply reroll that now actually. So yes, sorry, I told you I'm going to mess things up, but there's really a lot going on in this game. Let's roll that die, and that's only a 1, which is still bad enough. We are taking 2 wounds. I think we have to heal this round, otherwise we will be dead. I might have taken different choices, or I might have taken different choices, but this is something I will not take back now. So yeah, because then I might have healed actually, but okay, it is what it is. We are taking 2 more hits and we are taking 1 more insanity, which isn't the end of the world. I believe we are still getting a free number. That's the only one that makes sense now, is to place a 3 in here, because this would give us, but we are down to only 1 life point and we are getting hit. So I think the game is actually over after this one. So missing this one piece actually that we would roll again was truly bad, and I think these were all our actions here. Yes, we can still consider to re-roll, but I mean, what's the point, right? Yeah, okay, so first of all, let's do the 8. Again, the die doesn't matter here. It's the illusion of insanity, which says the battle is not only physical, but primarily fought in your mind. Pass this insanity test. Roll a die and compare the result to your current insanity level. And oh no, we could be dead right here, because now I actually do want to fail that test. No, we want to pass the test. Yeah, we have to pass the test. Otherwise, we are out of the game right here, right now. So we basically have to roll higher than our current insanity level, which is 3. So we have to roll a 4, 5, or 6. And it's a 5, which means we are somewhat still standing. In this case, we are only, quote unquote, gaining another weakness. How hilarious is that? So let's roll that die again. And now if we're rolling a 2 or a 3, we are taking a wound instead. Okay, and it's the 1 again. We know this one actually. So, but we are still standing, at least for this point. The problem now is we still have a 4 in our stock here, which we have to resolve now. And yes, you already know the drill. The Migos are attacking again. And in this case, because we have triggered this through the actions of the cultist, we have to roll the die here. And I believe only a 5 or a 6. Everything else will kill us, actually. Interesting. And it's a 2, which means we are taking, wow, 1 wound, 1 weakness, and 1 more cultist. The problem is the 1 wound is already killing us. Let's just, for the giggles, let's roll the weakness die. It's a 4. Okay, we have now 4 weaknesses already. Gain 1 insanity when you choose an even investigator die. These are truly horrible, actually. And we would still spawn another cultist, but yeah, that's not the end of the world, because again, yeah, the end of the world is actually here because we have just lost the game. Wow, I mean, for a split second I thought I would have a chance. I already beat the game on the easy difficulty level. I'm not even thinking about the hard or insane difficulty level, and again, the other scenarios get progressively more difficult. So let's see, scenario 2 here is really the sunken city. So this is where basically this stuff will happen. So before we are doing the ritual progress down here, we will first have to see that Relay is rising. It's as far as I remember, at least. And they're all double-sided, so we have 4 scenarios here. This is the King in Yellow Hastur. Looks pretty crazy, actually. So again, each of these scenarios have all different rules. They all have their scenario sheets, and I already failed at the very first one here. It's definitely beatable, at least on the easy difficulty level, but yeah, I think the main problem really was that I missed that they're basically hitting again. Otherwise, I believe I would have definitely taken health instead of other stuff. But yeah, here I am, made my bad. I'm not taking things back. And with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed my little playthrough of Roll for Great Old Ones. There's a lot going on. When you look at it the first time, yes, everything looks like an Excel table to some extent, but I really do like the style, quite honestly. It's really fun. It's definitely brain hurts after you play it for a while because of the myriad of combos. Even though you're only choosing 1 die for your actions, you can see for yourself a lot of stuff can happen even outside of your turn. When the evil is taking their turn, you have to really keep track of a lot of things. But yeah, before I forget, huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members. You guys are truly amazing. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. Let's see if I will be able to cover another Halloween themed game. I have Plum Island Horror, or whatever this game is called. Maybe I will look into that one. Looks pretty fancy, actually. Let's see if I can digest the rules before Halloween. If not, I may be able to find something else. Let me know what you think, and hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.